The Iraqi Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi has formally declared final victory over Daesh Takfiri terrorists in the northern city of Mosul. Abadi made the announcement in a live televised address from central Mosul. The premier said that they have won the battle against brutality and terrorism. He said the false state of Daesh, which was first announced from the city in 2014, has fully collapsed. He added that the Iraqi forces will now focus on clearing last pockets of Daesh. The announcement comes after a months-long battle to retake Mosul's old city, finally bore fruit last week. The Iraqi army launched a massive offensive to retake the northern city last October. It was the last city under the terrorist control. The battle for Mosul has killed thousands and displaced nearly 900,000 people. Jason Unruhe is a political commentator and analyst who joins us from Ontario. So you're looking at a major defeat here, and of course this is a major achievement. After all, this is where they call their so-called caliphate. But at this point, the battle is not over, and some analysts actually are saying that this is going to keep continuing for quite some time because the ideology still exists, not to take the limelight away from the success in this victory.
Well, that certainly is true. There's a great deal of this ideology, the desire to return to an Islamic caliphate, still certainly does resonate with a lot of people. As more and more countries are invaded by the United States, the idea of creating one kind of Islamic empire against the United States in order to defend the Islamic world from U.S. imperialism, it does come across as very attractive to a lot of people, particularly many of the world's marginalized people who are also Muslim. It's a very unfortunate thing, but largely this has been caused by the United States invading so many countries, stealing their resources, gaining access to their markets, etc. And this is the kind of thing that you're going to happen. Anywhere there's oppression, you're going to find resistance. That resistance doesn't always take the form of the best possible manifestation, but it will happen. And unfortunately, this is a product of U.S. foreign policy.
One of the things that this obviously has done is the fact that this has united Iraq for quite some time. Obviously, the Iraqi army at the forefront, they have been able to defeat this. Militarily and on the ground, these terrorists have been defeated, at least in Mosul. The next step will be the political reunification of some kind. But if foreign hands are not going to be at work, and you mentioned the United States, we could also mention Saudi Arabia.
Oh, absolutely. Saudi Arabia has been a very terrible influence on the region, particularly with its longstanding support for ISIS in order to carry out many of its goals. There's still a lot of political reunification still left to go inside many of the countries that have been devastated by the Saudi-backed ISIS. It's been a very polarizing struggle. On the one hand, there are people who don't want ISIS and the people who do want ISIS. Now, once that struggle is over, everything will turn back to the regular political, regional divides that existed there before this struggle. Hopefully, maybe some kind of national unity can come out of the struggle against ISIS, and there can be some kind of united front against letting something like that pop up once again. But many of the long, deep-seated political divides, many of which were suppressed under Saddam Hussein, many of some of the tribal regions still want to wield influence again. There's always the Sunni and Shia issue, but hopefully it would be much better to deal with these problems than they would be to deal with ISIS, because they're not such a murderous problem.
Thank you, Jason Unruhe. We appreciate it. Political commentator and analyst there from Ontario.